Well, hello, welcome to the Tuesday trading session right here in Lagos, Nigeria. We know the week kicked off with profit-taking on the local bourse, but we'll see how it all plays out. Let's get to the top stories that set to agenda now. We'll see oil prices edged up today after a sharp plunge in the previous session. We see Brent crude there 0.6% up, still holding on to that $70 range, $71.86 a barrel. The U.S. grade is also up with a bigger move, 0.7%. $67.83 a barrel. See if we can get a recovery, back to the $70 range. That's for US WTI. But we'll see pressure. There's a lot of pressure, sell pressure still in the market, regardless of this uptick we see this morning. Let's get a check on the FX market now. See the session that's for the close yesterday. NAFEX that depreciated about 0.28%, but a bigger drop for the end firm window, 1,670 naira. I was wondering if the 1,600 naira level would hold, but they gave up that gain there to 1,670 naira, down 4.42%, a big drop, despite the interventions that we saw from the previous week into this week. But we'll see if maybe the central bank would get back in there and intervene, as usual. 1,670 for the NAFEX window. A smaller loss, about 0.28%. And definitely be looking at how the commodities market is reacting to this. Joining us to analyze price action, we have Dumebi Oluwole, senior analyst at financial derivatives company. Hello, Dumebi. Great to have you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, so it seems the oil prices have recovered, but are the oil bulls out of the woods yet?
Well, not exactly. We're still pricing in a lot of supply shocks stemming from the geopolitical tensions that we've seen over the past few days and weeks escalate, both between Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Hamas. And both factors are seriously, impacting oil supply and also prices. So I guess right now, those are like the major issues currently affecting oil prices. And we do think that the market will continue to price those into oil prices in the coming months. I think an additional thing to also mention is OPEC's some level of, let's say, pessimism on a rebound in oil demand. And so we're also seeing them being very conservative with their oil supply. And we do think that as well will be factored into prices in the coming months, as well as sluggish demand from China as well.
Right. All eyes on demand from China this time and geopolitics on one hand. But let's look at the FX market. A big drop yesterday at the official window. Same old demand outstripping supply?
Yes, pretty much. We did see a significant decline in the average daily turnover at the official market, which is somewhat an indicator of supply of FX at the market, because the average daily turnover, what it does tell us is the level of market activities or transactions that are happening in the FX market. And people can only demand what is supplied, right? So in that sense, we do know that the market was tight, and that is the reason why we're seeing a sharp drop in the FX rate at the official market. I think worth mentioning is also the fact that we've seen significant pressures as well at the parallel market. And it's not too far-fetched when you consider the demand factors that are currently, applying pressure on the FX market. We do know we're entering into the festive season. Businesses are going to try to restock, to try to take advantage of high demand that will prop up towards the end of the year. We also know that the import waiver is still on. Businesses are also trying to take advantage of that. We're also seeing some level of increase in FX from, people that are trying to travel abroad, to travel demand basically towards the end of the year as well. So these are a couple of things that we're seeing, impact demand for FX at the market. And we do think that in order to somewhat stabilize the market ahead of the MPC meeting that will be coming up later on in November, we do think that the CBN will, somewhat intervene by probably having FX sales like it did in October, like it did in September, and also at the beginning of October, both to BDCs and also to authorized dealers commercial banks as well. And then possibly might be another retail Dutch auction to somewhat clear some of the FX backlogs that we do know has been resident with commercial banks for a couple of months.
All right, all eyes on the next meeting. Consensus, maybe another hike or maybe a hold at the next meeting. We'll definitely be looking out for that. Thank you so much, Dumebi Oluwole, Senior Analyst, Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, now let's delve into the world of aviation with a focus on two dynamic players in the industry. That's Neos Air and SkyMaster Services. We'll explore Neos Air's recent expansion into the Lagos-Milan routes, uncovering the motivations behind this decision and the details of their operations. Join us for this conversation. We have Mr. Ogbonna Prince Wills, the MD, SkyMaster Services, joining me right here in the studio. Great to have you.
Hi.
Thanks. Yes, and I know.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you too. And I know Milan is the fashion capital, and you're looking the part, you know, at this point with this nice blazer you're wearing. But talk to me about this partnership, Neos Air and SkyMaster Services.
Yeah, good morning. It's fantastic to be here with you.
Great to have you.
And we're excited because Nigerians in Europe and in Milan can now heave a sigh of relief to be able to fly direct from the western part of Europe down to here, 5 hours. And we are fantastically okay with what Airpeace is doing to be able to open up the industry. That tells you what the present government is doing to be able to open the market. The minister has done tremendously well, I must say this. Neos got into business 2001 in order to be able to provide specialized aviation services. And our relationship with them is fantastic because we chose them strategically because of this market. Nigeria is a very important market. Presently, Neos flies to Dakar, and some of the studies we did, 60% of the traffic going through Dakar from Milan are also Nigerians that are not being treated fairly. And we spend money to make other people, rich, and we don't get good service. So we decided to be able to open up this route. Of course, it's been fallow. Nobody has been there since the end of Alitalia and Air Italia. So, like you rightly quoted, the fashion capital of Europe is Milan. And also, there's a strategic thing you must understand. Nigerians are also playing in that industry. Several things that are being brought in here or made here to go to Europe will now find its way in Europe, directly. So this flight is going to be a very, strategic flight to be able to connect Nigerians directly to Europe without passing through Addis or even Qatar. So 5 hours.
To my next question. Yes. You were painting a picture there of what the route was like.
Yes.
Before this.
Yes.
I'm sure. How many hours were we looking at?
We're looking at 5 hours and some minutes to be able to be in Europe without a stopover or a layover, which is fantastic. And the rates are going to be so nice, just like what Airpeace is doing. I keep mentioning Airpeace because Nigeria is, anchoring around Airpeace to do well. So SkyMaster's bringing news into the market is also to open up the windows to give people options of being able to be into Europe without stopping over anywhere and connecting other destinations. And that also opens up Nigeria for additional people to take here as a destination because of what we are doing. This government is doing to be able to open up the industry. So it's important to let people know that it's now ready. The market is ready. The aviation sector is ready. And we are going to also go into some relationships which we have kept with aero contractors to be able to distribute passengers as they arrive here within there.
Quite interesting.
Customer service is what we are looking at for this operation.
All right, let's look at the frequency now.
Yes.
How many flights are we going to be looking at?
We're starting with 1 flight a week every Wednesday. Then as we grow, we are expanding to 2 or 3 flights a week as we watch the market. We are going to be strategic about our development and how we enter into code-share relationships, which is fantastically important in this industry.
I'm talking about watching the market. What kind of demand are you expecting for this route?
Well, Nigerians are business people. They are traveling, tourism. Even the church, the Catholic church that goes up to Rome, will now find this flight very, very enjoyable to get to Milan, Malpensa, and be able to connect Rome, where we will be able to help them to get to their destinations. Then people who are looking at cheaper ways of flying and safer ways of flying directly without connecting or sleeping at the airport will also find this flight operations a fantastic thing to do. I wouldn't forget the role CFAX has played here. They may be a handling company, but they have been very fantastic in this, making sure that this operation commences to be able to give Nigerians a sigh of relief.
Because I know connecting flights can be quite stressful,
yes.
And you have to wait at the airport.
Exactly.
And, sometimes sleep and wait for long hours. That's grueling. But talk to me about this route. Now, how long are you planning to operate this route? Is this some kind of temporary arrangement?
No. This is a long haul we are going into. We've done our studies, we've done our plans, we have put things in place, and we have strategically put fundings in place as well. Polaris is doing a fantastic job with us. So we want to see how we can put customer service as first. I enjoy personally competitions, but healthy ones. Let's be able to give the customers, the type of, service they deserve, where they are put first. It's important we understand that. And mainly, Nigerians who are heavy travelers, serious travelers, we are trying to also make sure that Europe sees them as viable travelers, not just as people who are spending their money without getting anything.
Right. And I'm talking about spending money. I remember when the Naira, was stronger than what it is, right now, the price of business class is like the price of economy,
yes.
Right now. So we're needing more Naira, to get most of these tickets. Talk to me about affordability.
We have structured the pricing to be affordable. And let me also say this, in as much as I'm not a politician, I am enjoying what is going on in the industry currently, that the current minister is doing, and the current government is trying to do, even though it's a bit difficult. But we are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel, whereby people can spend reasonable, limited funds and get some services. That's why people, companies like us can be able to thrive now and also have relationships. So our pricing is structured to be able to be affordable, not just skyrocketing, for people to have, to be able to be in Europe at a reasonable rate. So we've considered that very well.
I'm talking about people that are trying to be in Europe. Talk to me about your target market.
Okay. Nigerians, the Southeasterners, Aba, Onitsha, Owerri, are heavy importers. They bring in their leathers to be able to produce the shoes and all that. And like you rightly pointed out, the fashion headquarters in Europe, which is Milan, we're able to fuse it together with Nigerian market, which is growing tremendously in the fashion side of it. So those are one of the target markets. Then religious pilgrimage, people who go for their holy ceremonies in Rome. And also, very, very importantly, the oil and gas and manufacturing. There's a lot of the presence of Italian multinational companies operating here. We're also going to be dealing with the multinationals directly to be able to tailor the services we provide to meet their demands. So we are looking at, and all those tourism, which is very, very important. Milan and Italy is a major destination. Nigeria is an untapped market that we're also going to look into. Even though we're in aviation, we're trying to add a desk for tourism, how we can work with Italians to be able to deal with that. And more importantly, we're also looking out for security issues where migrants, drugs are not. Nigeria is not going to be we are not going to be people that could be used. So we are going to work with the agencies that are concerned to be able to curb that while we grow this market, which is important to grow.
And we know it's either people that are moving or goods. So talk to me, is it just passengers we're looking at?
Well, we are not a cargo company,
right?
But people move. Nigerians are heavy spenders when it comes to purchases. So we have space. We've reduced the seating capacity to 145 to be able to accommodate people's, nobody will have a leftover like what they experience in other places, other airlines. I don't want to mention names, but we want to be able to make sure that people go with what they have that is reasonable back and forth this market.
All right, and are we looking at other airports in Nigeria?
Well, as we expand, Abuja is a tremendous market. Port Harcourt, which is where our home state is, we've been enjoying, the support of the government before. The former governor was, did a lot there, and the current governor, I guess, is doing so much in the industry. So we've made Port Harcourt our home base, and Port Harcourt is going to be fantastically. We are not forgetting the north, but these are the catchy points where we can have markets. We will expand in, doing that. But we are looking at working with aero contractors in this regards to be able to distribute passengers across, and other airlines that we may find better. But we chose Aero because they have their AMOs where we can also have services done here if the aircraft has issues that may come up. So we are looking at a lot of things that we can.
Yeah, I'm sure you're looking at a lot of things, and I'm sure you can also paint a picture of what you're seeing, for this route, going forward, and other expansion plans at this point.
It's going to be a boom. With what I'm seeing that the minister is doing, Lagos will become a major hub pretty soon. If with what I'm seeing being done, Abuja can follow suit. We need to take advantage of our numbers, how we travel. I'm from the southeast, from Abia. We are merchants, we are traders, we move around a lot. So we are looking at how to work with the Europeans. We don't stand alone. We work with the Europeans to be able to create that movement. Let's begin to look at the things we can do. We can work with FAN to be able to create duty-free shops within the airport, to be able to expand people's, having time to shop around while they wait for their flights. There are a couple of things we are looking at that we can delve into, but let's focus on our opening, which is going to be...
And I'm sure that's kicking off tomorrow.
Yes. In a low key, but very nice.
We'll definitely be looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Mr. Ogbonna Prince Will, yes. Managing Director, Sky Master Services.
Yes, please, let it be in that way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll continue the conversation right after this break. We're going to be looking at financial services. That's in a moment. Just stay with us. All right, now let's analyze the pivotal role of the insurance sector in Nigeria's economic landscape. I'll begin with an overview of the association and its mission before diving into how the insurance industry aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. To help us unpack this, I have Mr. Kunle Ahmed, is the 26th chairman, Nigerian Insurers Association. Join me right here in the studio. It's great to have you.
Great to be here, Ladi.
Yeah, so talk to me about this association, and congratulations.
Thank you.
On this new role.
Thank you. So Nigerian Insurance Association is the umbrella body of all insurance companies in Nigeria, insurance company and reinsurance company in Nigeria. It's been about 53 years old association, and we pay attention to all issues that concerns insurance business in Nigeria, and the arrangement of insurance and the relationship with government and management, ensuring that insurance companies follow the principles of insurance and serve our customers and potential customers fairly.
And, looking at the macros at this time, we're dealing with a cost of living crisis. We'll see inflation, at levels we've not seen in a long time. We're seeing currency devaluation. All of these three, hammering on businesses and individuals. So talk to me about how the insurance sector can actually help in navigating, these headwinds to achieve this $1 trillion economy for Nigeria.
Let me start by saying that in thriving or trying times, the solution that you need is insurance. And I think it's in the realization of the importance of insurance and what insurance can do in terms of helping the government to achieve its agenda that we've seen a lot of attention being paid by this government to the practice of insurance in Nigeria. I've been in the State House at least twice in the last 1 month to discuss issues concerning insurance. But directly to your question, insurance gives wings, provide wings to businesses to fly. And we pay critical attention to the sectors of the economy to give them support. I'll give an example. Agriculture is very important to our economy. And we can provide solutions, insurance solutions, for flood, for drought, for the agri sector, to allow farmers to be able to produce and thereby support the growth of the economy and the ambition of the government. We provide critical support for critical side of the economy, like energy, like transportation. With insurance, you are focused just on investment, just on creating new areas, new frontiers, breaking barriers. You have more confidence to continue to invest, to innovate, and expand, believing that you have a cover for you in the event of unfortunate or unforeseen circumstances.
And talking about that cover, some would say it's going to cost me money to get this cover, at this point. Why don't I, take that money and channel it, into my business at this time, because I'm not getting that much demand and business is not going as well. What do you say to that kind of?
The issue is that what you pay as insurance premium is a tiny proportion of the value that insurance company will take care of if the unforeseen circumstances arises. For example, if you insure your building, you pay something like 0.2% of the value of the building, assuming your building is cost 100 million. What you pay is a tiny amount. And if anything happens to the building, the insurance company will pay the full amount of that building to you. Of course, there are other exceptions.
And, talking about, flooding, you did mention flooding.
Yes.
Earlier, I've seen some homes where people have been, sacked from their homes because of the floods, even, around us here. What kind of a plan can such a person have to, to save their property and also, help them maybe find some other accommodation?
The simple policy that they need is a fire insurance policy, fire and special perils insurance policy. That policy will cover them for fire and other perils, like drought, like flooding, like impact on their building, like several other cover that comes around fire and special perils. And like I said, the premium for that particular risk is very tiny compared to the risk that insurance company will carry eventually.
Right, and you also mentioned, trying times, and I want to believe that trying times also come with a lot of claims. Is the insurance industry able to absorb most of the claims that we're seeing at this time?
We are able to absorb all claims, and thanks to that particular question, because a lot of our viewers and the investing public doesn't understand the practice of insurance. Insurance capacity is not limited to the shareholders fund or the fund or the capital of the insurance company. Insurance companies' capacity also include the reinsurance capacity that they bought. So you can have a very a medium-sized insurance company being able to take very large risk. Now, talking directly about claims. Last year, the industry recorded premium income of about 1 trillion naira. We paid claims of about 546 billion naira, about 54% of the premium that we wrote last year. That shows that it's no longer about whether insurance company pay claims. No, that is no longer the question. Insurance company pay claims. What we are paying a lot more attention to is the customer journey from onboarding to claims to ensure that claims payment is seamless and our insurance public are paid, within a very short period of time.
Because some, you hear some customers say that, before I can get that claim, I have to bring the beard of a grasshopper, at this time to actually make that. So it's gotten easier.
It is a lot easier today. It's a lot easier today. And the challenge for us is to make it even easier than it is today. For example, if your car is stolen, in the past, it used to take about 90 days before your claim is paid. Today, it is 60 days for most companies. I know a couple of our members that are now targeting 30 days, so that will give time for whether the car will be found or, to ensure that documentations are completed and all that. So things are improving gradually. And with technology and digital disruptions, we believe that the sky is the beginning.
Right. And what would you say are the challenges facing your industry, right now? You're looking at currency devaluation and all of that.
There are several challenges that we face, and I'll put it in two buckets. The couple of historical challenges that we're taking care of already, inability to attract, talent outside, our industry, less footprints in terms of accessibility and distribution channels. But there are a couple that I think I still need to talk a bit more about. Number one is the fact that insurance business in Nigeria is still being governed through outdated laws. That these outdated laws inhibit our ability to be creative, our ability to focus on things that will move the industry forward. I'm happy that the National Assembly is currently taking care of that with the Nigerian Insurance Reform Bill at the National Assembly. Hopefully, that will be taken care of. And
you think it's going to scale?
I believe very strongly that it's going to stay. It's past the second reading. We've had the public hearing. So I believe very strongly that we'll see that will see the light of the day. Another problem that we face is the fact that there's low insurance awareness. And this cut across, all strata of the society. You might think some educated people will understand how insurance business works, but that has been a major challenge that we face. One particular issue that usually causes a lot of challenges with our insuring public is a global term called excess. Excess is that portion of the claim that the insured bears when there is a claim. And most companies usually bring this to fore when we sell insurance products to the customers. But yet, it's a big issue when there's a claim, and people believe that, you have not indemnified me to the extent of my loss. The third one is the perception of fraud. And by both the insurance company and the insured. You might not believe that. The insurance companies, the insurers believe that insurance companies are just there to, not to pay claims. That perception is still there somewhat. But insurance companies also believe that insuring public, when there is a loss, always want to make more than the loss that they've suffered. That challenge is there, and I think the industry is trying to manage both sides of the divide. So that the major challenges that I see.
How do you think?
But the most important one, Ladi, is the economic challenge.
Yes, right.
The fact that there are challenges with the economy, increase in prices of energy and petrol. The purchasing power of people is now a bit limited.
Because I believe inflation will be a major headache for insurance, because
it is.
You might price the claim at repairing something at this price, but the next thing the prices go up again. So how do you create some kind of buffer against that? I
think, Ladi, we should give you an insurance certification for this particular question. I think it's a major problem because this year we've seen average claim cost increase fourfold. Average claim cost. So, for example, maybe 2 years ago, what you spend 3,000 to fix will now cost us about 12,000 to fix. And premium has not increased, in that manner. The challenge for us is to continue to grow the business, because the bigger the top line, the better you can absorb cost, and the better you can innovate in terms of how you pay claims, and the bottlenecks around claims payment. Right,
and in the financial services sector, you've seen the banking side, they having to recapitalize. Yes. How's the insurance doing? Are the companies okay when it comes to capitalization? I
believe that the insurance companies will also recapitalize. There is a provision in the reform bill at the National Assembly that stipulates that insurance companies must recapitalize. I don't know the final figure that the government will agree on, but the capital today is 2 and 3 billion. 2 billion for life companies, 3 billion for non-life company. That is very small. I believe that by the time that law is passed, the capital for insurance companies will increase significantly.
Right, and we have a couple of insurance companies listed on the local bourse. What are you seeing? It's Q3. Everyone's looking out for results. Are you seeing strong results coming out from most of the insurance companies?
I'll base my analysis on what we saw in H1 at the end of Q2, because you're not allowed to reveal your results except on the floor of the estate.
Of course, yeah.
I think with what we've seen at the end of Q2, the insurance buzz is going to be very active. There are very nice results being put out to the public,
right?
And I believe that we'll see, that trend will continue. Hoping that
regardless of the headwinds,
hoping that we won't see very large claim happening between now and the end of the year.
Right. All right, so let's look towards the future, at this time. What are you seeing in the next 5 to 10 years for this industry?
With 1% of Nigerians holding an insurance policy, with 1%, less than 1% penetration rate in Nigeria, and with the population that we have, I believe that the future for insurance is very bright. Our GDP the contribution of insurance to GDP has increased, has improved. It was 3% in the last 5 years. As at Q2 2024, it was 0.52. That shows some improvement. I believe very strongly with the passage of the law on insurance that we talked about, the implementation of the 10-year industry strategic plan that is being put together by the whole industry with the National Insurance Commission. I think that will open a lot of opportunities, and I believe very strongly that insurance contribution to the GDP will increase to about 1.9%. By 2030.
Right, and one thing I forgot to ask you about, this is a high interest rate environment. How is that impacting business?
It's impacting business a lot. We've seen a decrease in what I call credit life or credit policies. There's been a remarkable decrease in the number of policies that we see, and that's because banks are not advancing loans like they used to before. That might, of course, that's as a result of the high interest rate. But there are other things we need to do. There are people that have assets already that we need to show clearly, or we need to show value to in terms of what insurance can do. And that's some of the things we'll be paying attention to from the Nigerian Insurance Association. Right,
and we'll definitely be hoping for the very best. But, with your leadership now, what can we expect with your leadership?
Progress. I'll be paying a lot of attention to digital disruption. I think my sector, being a very traditional sector, has been the slowest in embracing digital transformation. The plank of my tenure will be digital disruption. We'll be doing a lot of advocacy, ensuring that government agencies put insurance in their plan as they make plans and put plans in place. Insurance is a pillar of those plans. Those are the two major things we'll be looking at in the course of my tenure.
And I'm sure artificial intelligence will come up at some point.
That will be under digital transformation.
Thank you so much. It was great having your perspective. That was Mr. Kunle Ahmed, is the 26th chairman, Nigerian Insurers Association. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Daddy. Nice to be here.
All righty then. So that's the show today. The markets are open. We'll give you a summary of what's playing out, and definitely we'll have a surprise on Business Incorporated. That's at 1 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Lade Williams. I hand things over to the Sunrise Daily team.